Welcome back to BBB Adventures and episode 10 of the Apollo mission, our bike touring adventure across North America on our Priority Apollo bikes. In our last episode, we left the mosquito-infested Hatchet Campground and climbed over Twogotee Pass, crossing the Continental Divide and enjoying a long descent on the east side of the mountain, finding our way to Dubois, Wyoming. This episode picks us up as we wake up at the lovely St. Thomas Episcopal Church.
Good morning. It's day 30.
Day 30.
Day 30 of our wonderful adventure. And guess what we get to have for breakfast?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Yay.
Ice cream and fig Newtons for breakfast. And there's Tim from the Netherlands. He's also partaking.
Ice cream. Yeah.
The church had leftover ice cream. I think we told you that already. And this is our first taste of it. Ice cream for breakfast. Every child's dream.
Well, Apollo mission, day 30. Getting started after a nice ice cream and fig Newton breakfast at the church. Got the map. I got the route all loaded into my Komoot deal on my Garmin. Today's a big day, sort of. It's downhill all day, but it's 93 miles. We're gonna do it. Goodbye, Dubois. We had a nice time. Here we go.
Pretty landscape here in Wyoming.
Boy, these painted hills are really stunning. So neat, so unique. There's a museum of military vehicles. There's a Russian MiG jet fighter over there. Maybe a MiG-29? I don't know. The National Museum of Military Vehicles. How neat is this?
Cool.
This would be really fun to go see. That's one of the disadvantages of putting an event in the middle of your ride. You do lose a bit of flexibility. We just entered the Wind River Indian Reservation. I don't know how far it goes. For some reason I think it goes all the way to Shoshoni, our in town for tonight. Sure is pretty. Quite happy about the cloud cover too, because the sun is working its way towards the hot part of the day, and it's we're getting a little shade from the clouds, but it's not going to last all day, so we'll enjoy it while we can.
Look at that. That reminds me of Route 66 and the movie Cars.
That's pretty good.
Look at that.
Isn't that neat? Wow. So pretty. So unique. I guess we're out of the mountains. I guess that's that for the Rockies. Now we go into this. So we came out of those painted hills and we've been riding a long time in this farmland. I think we're still on the Indian reservation, or close to it anyway. Sort of reminds me of southeast Idaho. We're still pretty high up though. We're at still over 6,000 feet. We're at 6,200 feet of elevation. So this is definitely high mountain something. High mountain plain maybe. The Crowheart store. It's like Ragbri.
Representing the library and having a grand opening for our little library. The free library.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Oh, we love these. This is, that is so cool.
Are you sure you guys will want something, Sandy? Look,
A book, snacks. There you go.
Grab some cookies. There's iced tea there.
So how big a area does the library support?
How many?
Well, we got 125 patrons that get mail.
Okay.
So that's what we go on.
Oh,
That's
that's
what we
nice.
do. That's what we
Yeah.
go on.
That's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. And these little libraries are the best.
Aren't they the best?
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know, people use it.
Oh
is
yeah,
great here.
yeah,
You
it
know,
is.
We're trying to make it more known, I think, with our little grand opening today.
Well, there was just a lady here a little bit ago from New York, and she took a book and she says, "Oh yeah," she says, "We've used these all the way across from New York."
Isn't that awesome? That is awesome. Well, it's a great service.
So, yeah, it's fun.
Bad part of it, the service is dying out because
Yeah, it is.
too many people just want to.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, there's something to be said about holding a book in your hand, isn't there?
I was just gonna say, I want to hold that book in my hand.
Yeah. Very awesome. Well, keep up the good work.
Oh, well, you guys
Safe
travel
travel.
safe.
Thank you. Thank you. We are at the home on the range, where the deer and the antelope play, where seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the skies have puffy clouds all day. Biking, biking on the range, where the gears and the water bottles play, and seldom is heard a discouraging word, and the tailwinds go blowing all day. Yeah, well, even though this was mostly downhill today, there's really nothing that's always downhill. Everything has hump to humps. When people say Iowa's flat, they don't really know. If people say Wyoming is flat on the middle to eastern side, no. But every place has these Humpty Dumpties. Up we go. But for the most part, today's downhill. We lose elevation all day long. That is Pilot Butte Reservoir. We looked it up on the map. Decent sized reservoir, likely for irrigation, for the farmers, don't know. But yeah, This looks like a pretty dry part of the country, so it's nice there's a reservoir. We're still on US 26, heading east.
Not a flat tire. Not this time. My bike's making a clunking noise. We're trying to determine the source of the noise. I can't figure out what's making the clunking.
Well, we took Marybeth's front wheel off and inspected it. Couldn't see anything major wrong with it, but it was still clunking. So we called a bike shop in Riverton, which was a town we were gonna sort of bypass through a little shortcut, but we called the bike shop. They closed at 4. There's a small chance we can get there before they close to have them look at the bike. So that's what we're trying to do. If we miss that, we're gonna have to take another assessment and decide whether we just keep going or burn up another day waiting for them to open in the morning at 9, which means we really can't have we won't get out of there until 11. So not sure what that does for tomorrow. So yeah, we're just trying to figure it out and keep our eye on the schedule. We do have a few buffer days, but since we left Auto Falls, we'll have consumed 2 of them. And yeah, we're within range of putting Rackbri at risk. And we still have a long way to go, so we need those buffer days. So this is a bit unfortunate. But we'll do the best we can. Go figure it out. Quick update. It turns out that the bike shop I thought I found in Riverton was actually in a different town. I sort of got fooled by Google Maps. I zoomed in on Riverton and then I entered search bike shop and it brought up a list of bike shops. And I didn't notice that the bike shops were not actually in Riverton. So now we're keep pedaling and hope that the problem with Marybeth's bike doesn't become catastrophic. So we're gonna get in here to Riverton, get a little something to eat, and cool off, refill with water, and then it'll be about 20 miles to our destination for the day. But it's 3:30 and we should have a tailwind for some of that, so yeah, it's gonna work out.
Well, we're finally pedaling into Riverton, the city that doesn't have a bike shop. But I'm gonna bet that they have ice and water and a snack. We have 23 miles or so to go. It's been a long day. We've already ridden 77. We have a 100-mile day today. Accommodative errors caused it to be 100 miles instead of 91, but anyway, we are at a McDonald's. We're gonna order a quick snack, and this is what you do when you're on the road. We found an outlet at the McDonald's. We're charging our Garmin devices, and we're gonna ice up our bottles. Ice and water up our bottles while we eat dinner. Actually a snack. Apparently still plans on cooking dinner when we get to camp. But that's not gonna be until about 7 o'clock. Long day today.
It's 6:08 p.m. We've gone 84 miles with about 15 to go. Climbed about 1,400 feet. But we got a tailwind now. So hopefully it keeps up and we have a relatively easy time this last 15 miles. This is going to be our first 100-mile day of the Apollo mission. It would have been 90, but we went out of our way to go to Riverton for no reason. But we had some refreshments there, had a snack, give us a little energy for the last push, and hopefully the temperature comes down because it's still about 95 degrees. Been a hot day. State Park. I wonder if that's where boysenberries come from. Yeah, Marybeth says yes. Wow. That's neat. There she is. She's killing it. 3 miles to go. All downhill. Woohoo! Crossroads of Wyoming. I don't know why. $100 miles.
101.
101 miles.
Because we had to backtrack to get to this lovely campsite.
Yeah, so here's the deal. I'm eating pizza because I'm hungry. Why aren't you cooking dinner on your stove, you ask? Well, there's a good reason for that. When I did my research, my fault, my research, I found multiple things that said Shoshoni, Wyoming, city park, you could camp in. So we roll into town about 7 o'clock, 100 miles. Can't find the park. I call the sheriff. You can't camp in a park here. So then we found a brand new fancy RV park. You can't camp here. So we went to thought, well, we'll just get a hotel room. We go to the hotel, there's 2 hotels. One's been converted to an apartment. The other is under complete renovation and they will not let people in the rooms. So we're like screwed. So we found a church and we called that guy and he did eventually call us back, but it was too late. But something is biting my legs. What the hell is it?
Mosquitoes.
Anyway. The hotel that's being remodeled. The hotel is being remodeled. The nice people remodeling it basically said, hey, there's an RV park, an old abandoned RV park behind the hotel. Just pitch your tent there.
It belongs to the hotel. The property owners bought
He
the
said,
whole thing.
Electricity still works out here. And he said, yes, pitch your tent here. I won't charge a thing. So that's what we're doing. So that's why it looks like we're behind a building, because we are. Right, baby?
Yeah, I just heard air. So I'm hoping a tire didn't just break.
Uh-oh, let's go figure that out. Well, the sun's coming up. I think we were trying to tell you guys last night about our situation rolling into this town, where we thought we could stay at the city park, but that turned out to be wrong. And then the RV park we called didn't want us in there because they don't allow tents. And anyway, we went to the hotel
that we saw as we rolled into town. It's been converted to an apartment. The hotel across the street is under renovation, and it's been abandoned for 3 years, and they're now just renovating it. So we were literally had no place to stay, and so the guy that's renovating this hotel said, well, you can pitch your tent behind the hotel. There's a abandoned RV park that's part of the hotel. Anyway, so we were telling you that story, and Marybeth heard an air leak, and so I had gone, once we set up the tent, I had gone to the gas station on my bike to get some dinner because we were too tired to cook. And when we came back, somewhere, some of these plants are sticker plants, and my tires, both of my front and rear tires, had multiple 20 plus of these little stickers that had punctured through into the tube. And I believe it's ruined the tires because these little sticker things get in there and then the heads break off, and then you got this spike in the rubber of your tire, and if you don't pull it out, then as the tire flexes, it punctures the tube. So I believe I've ruined both tires, and certainly we only have 2 tubes left. So even if I put the new tubes in, I don't think we would make it 100 miles across the desert where there's no services. They're literally, the next town's 100 miles away with nothing in between. So we panicked a little bit and really thought about what to do. So here's what we're gonna do. We got online and rented a U-Haul van. A 20-foot truck was the only one they had available. So we rented a U-Haul. This nice gentleman is gonna take me back to Riverton, 20 miles. I'm gonna pick up the truck. I'm gonna come here. We're gonna put all this stuff in the truck, the bikes, the bags, everything. We're gonna drive the 100 miles to Casper, where we're gonna find a bike shop to buy new tires, buy new tubes, get the clunk, clunk, clunk and Marybeth's bike looked at, and then we'll drop off the U-Haul and spend the night in Casper, and tomorrow we'll be back on track. But we're gonna have to, which is, you know, not the worst thing, because this is probably the worst 100 miles of the trip. It's literally nothing between here and Casper. So anyway, not a super great experience. I couldn't sleep because I'm so freaked out about being sort of stranded in this tiny little town where there's nothing, and I didn't know what we were going to do. So we're going to take the tent down. Marybeth's going to stay here with this stuff. I'm going to get a hitch a ride with this dude, and he's going to take me to get this. So I'll feel a lot better when I'm behind the wheel of that truck and we're on our way to Casper, and I know that we're going to recover from this. But man, it was quite a feeling. Okay, so that's one of the stickers where the heads come off. If I pull that out, it will have punctured. It will have punctured the tube. Let me see if I can. If you can, where'd it go? Yeah, so I just pulled that. I just pulled that little spike out of my tire, and the head had broken off. So unless I pulled 100% of those out of these tires are toast. There's bunches of these in my tire. That's what they look like. They're almost the perfect tire puncture. Nature's created the perfect tire puncturer. I'm just happy none of them got on the air mattress. Here's another view of my tire. Look how many of those are in there. Oh my God.
So I rented this truck so we could get the bikes to Casper, and put $50 worth of gas in it. And I started to head back towards Shoshoni, and the front end started shaking really bad. So turns out it's got a flat front tire. So I came back, and the poor guy here doesn't really know how to switch me over to a different truck. And I put $50 of gas in this one, so we're gonna swap this tire out, which is flat, for one on a truck that he doesn't rent out or whatever. And I'm actually the one that jacked it up, found the floor jack and jacked this up. So I'm sort of earning my keep as a mechanic today, so I can get my $50 worth of gas.
My chariot has arrived, my knight in shining armor. You going to Casper?
Yeah.
Can I ride?
You got any bicycles?
I do, 2 of them.
Are they broken?
Yes.
Well, you know.
We are strapping Brentley's bike in. We're using the Topeak straps that came with my front fork bottle holders. Looks like it'll work. Oh yeah.
This is what 2 bicycles and some panniers look like in a great big U-Haul.
We have made it to Casper. The folks at Mountain Sports are going to help us out. He knows all about goat's head thorns.
Well, we got the bikes fixed. Now we're back at the U-Haul place. We're going to take all the stuff out. We barely had enough room for our stuff in this 20-foot truck. Barely fit. You can see that it barely fits.
It's just crammed in there.
We're going to put this stuff back on our bikes and we're going to pedal to the hotel for the night. But right now we're going to check this thing in and be done with it.
What's wrong with the bikes?
Well, my tire had been destroyed by those little things we talked about, so you saw that.
Goat head thorns?
Goathead thorns. And Marybeth had a clunk that they tried to fix. They did a few things, made some adjustments, so we'll see. But they put some Kevlar liners in between the tube and the tire. So if we get any more of this punctures, maybe it'll be more puncture resistant. So, yeah. Let's start taking these things out, want it?
That was our truck. We got the bikes out, and I'm all loaded back up, and we're headed to the hotel. Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. This is awesome. Are these the motherboards? This is really cool. Oh my God.
I knew I'd see a Corvair. I wasn't expecting a Greenbrier though. Holy buckets. So cool.
That is a Greenbrier, just like Luna, isn't it, baby?
Yes.
We enjoyed a fantastic dinner at Stanford's Grub and Pub and then checked into our hotel for a restful, air-conditioned evening. Stay tuned for our next episode where we continue east, riding miles on gravel to avoid riding on I-25 and end the day at Douglas, Wyoming.